Rap and Reason podcast with Dr. Jeremy C. McCool and Earl Hopkins. All right, we are recording and we're back at it again, man. I am Dr. Jeremy C. McCool.
And I'm Earl Hopkins. What's going on?
What's going on? You are tuned in to Rap and Reason podcast, and this is episode 39. How you feeling, bro?
I'm feeling good, man. I can't complain. It's been a solid week. I was in Ohio for my alma mater, Black Alumni Reunion, so yeah, that was dope, bro. Just going back, seeing old friends, seeing my fraternity brothers. For those that don't know, me and Jeremy are both men of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. So
Absolutely.
Us going back to our roots, like where I crossed that, and everything else, man, it was a dope weekend, bro. Nice. Memories like that, man, you can't recreate them, but you can always create new ones. And so that's what we did as alumni and just connecting with younger brothers and everything, man. It was beautiful.
Bro,
yeah.
That's what's up. That's what's up, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's always good to get back home too, man.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
I haven't been back to my undergrad since I left, man.
Since you left, how, bro, what? Like a decade, 8 years
Since I left, man. Yeah, it ain't.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been a little minute.
Bro.
Yeah, I went there for my master's too.
Uh-huh.
So I was there for 6 years total, but yeah.
I wouldn't want to be there. I wouldn't want to go after 6, bro.
Yeah, after 6 years there, man.
I wouldn't either.
And to be fair, man, my school is in the middle of nowhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Shout out to everybody who went to WIU, Western Illinois University, but it's in Macomb, Illinois, bro. And nobody has a reason to be in Macomb, Illinois.
What's the closest bigger city?
The closest bigger city is Peoria, Illinois.
And that is not a big city, right?
It's not a big city, but it's the second. I believe it's the second biggest city in Illinois after Chicago.
And that's the capital. Am I tripping? Capital of Illinois?
No, that's Springfield.
Springfield, yeah.
Springfield,
yeah.
And I'm gonna be honest, I might have been to Springfield once, as a little kid on a field trip, but nobody goes to Springfield just
that's crazy.
Off the whim, yeah.
Because when people think of Illinois, they think of Chicago. When they think of the Midwest, they think of Chicago.
I've talked to people who thought Chicago was the state.
These are not serious people you talking to.
No, they are not,
man.
I'm not saying that they're serious people, but I'm saying that I've heard people refer to Chicago as the state just because it's like Chicago and then there's everything else.
Type, exactly.
Yeah. But nah, man, that's dope. Yeah, man, my week was good too. Good so far, man. It's been busy but good.
Yeah. All
great stuff, man. I'll be this upcoming weekend. I will be at the Zeta Phi Beta. They're doing a gala, which I'm looking forward to. The Chester County chapter of Zeta Phi Beta. They're giving me Educator of the Year, so I'll be there accepting that award. So shout out to the Zetas, man. I appreciate it. Shout out to the Zetas, man.
Shout out to them.
Yeah, man. But other than that, man, it's been good. Just teaching classes, working, and listening to some hip hop, man.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. Some of the stuff we have to talk about today. Luther,
man. Let's talk about it. Is that still the number one song in the country or top 10 or something?
No, it was still number one last time I checked.
That's insane, bro.
Luther is still number one. How long did GNX? GNX been out for what?
4 or 5 months.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's been a minute.
Because that came out before the Super Bowl. So yeah, GNX has been out for a minute, and Luther is still number one. Now, when you first heard Luther, did you think that it would be as big as it is?
I thought it was gonna be big, but not this big. Not 3, 4, 5 months after the album drops. I didn't think it would be this big. Nah. And SZA's amazing. Obviously, we know when her and Kendrick link up, even back to Black Panther, soundtrack days, all the stars, right? We knew they made magic, but for it to last this long, bro, I knew it would be in my rotation. I didn't know it would be in the world's rotation. Yeah, that's crazy to me. Yeah.
Nah, man.
Did you see it?
I knew it. I thought it would be the biggest song on the project.
Oh, wow.
But I definitely, just because it's sonically amazing.
Yeah.
Just like the melodies, and it's unique because it's really an R&B song with just a couple little rap flows in the middle of it. And they used the sample right.
They did it right. They did.
That Luther Vandross sample. Number one, I love the original song.
Yeah, I love that song.
If this were, it's an amazing song. So, and I think that they did it justice. They didn't Kanye thing where you speed it up or you slow it down a lot. They used the original sample and they tied it into the song, and I thought it was dope. So I definitely thought it would be the biggest, but I didn't think it would go number one.
I didn't know. I didn't think it would. I thought Dodger Blue. I thought that one was going to go. But you may be a better A&R than me, because what was the song that you talked about a song, episode 38. I forgot what it was, but I was like, there's no way. Oh, Nokia. Talked about Nokia. I'm like, bro, this joint is going to be laughing stock. Like, nobody's really going to take it serious.
Nah.
So your A&R and ability is better than mine.
Bro, the Nokia is just, and it's crazy because me saying that, I don't like the song. I just can hear it, and I'm like, this is going to work because it's just
It gets stuck in your head.
Absolutely. And that's usually what Luther, on the other hand, to me, is an actual great song.
It is.
The vocals are amazing. It's like the lyrics. Like I think it's just a great song.
Yeah, and y'all gonna call us Kendrick D riders? Like, bro, the song is inherently just better in every way. Like, say what you want. I don't care.
If we have to argue that Luther is a better song than Nokia, then we got some problems.
Then we're arguing with unserious people. We just said that at the top of the episode.
I'm not. That's one I'm not gonna really debate. Luther is a 1,000. It's not even close. Yeah, but they're neck and neck on the charts right now. And I think they're very different songs. Luther is dang near a ballad type of. It's really an R&B-ish type of song, and then you have Nokia that's more like a dance. I don't even know what you call that, but it's a pop dance song.
It's a pop song. It's definitely a synth pop song. Totally different lanes, totally different audiences. I think they service the people that they're supposed to service. Like, respectfully, the two songs. You know
what's crazy? I think that now, how when people talk about Jay-Z, you all like Nas and Jay-Z, you talk about them synonymously all the time. Like when you talk about the great, you say Jay-Z and Nas and Jay-Z. I feel like now, not in the same way, but I feel like Kendrick and Drake are always going to be tied to each other now after this rap beef.
Always going to be tethered to each other. Because they're at the top of they've been at the top of the game for a while. I know, like, in a lot of people's eyes, Kendrick, like, took a back seat just because he was inactive for, like, 5 years. But in reality, we see when he starts heating up, cooking up, like, he's, if not on the same level, he's, a step above him. Everybody else.
And that's another conversation we're going to have soon.
We have to.
Is there still a big three, and was there ever really a big three? Yeah, and that's something that I want to talk about because I think we're going to disagree here, but it's good. It's good. It's gonna be good for the show. Because I never thought Drake was on the level of Kendrick Lamar or J. Cole. But we'll get into that. Yeah, but I will say the Luther video.
Yeah, man. So what was your first reaction when you saw it? Because I feel like mine. No, I feel like we're going to be on the same, like, plane on this one. But what was your views when you saw it? What things stood out?
What stood out to me in the music video, one is I just thought it was shot well. Yeah. Like, just from an artistic standpoint, I thought that it was shot and directed really, really well. I thought that there was a lot of intentionality in the shots. One of the dopest scenes to me, just like cinematically, is the shot of them going up on the elevator. Yeah. With the view, and it just looks amazing. I thought it was dope, man. I think that Kendrick, I like this thing that Kendrick is doing in his videos where he's like emotionless and there's all this other stuff going on, but it's just like him emotionless, just rapping. Because it almost to me is like, it's like pay attention to the music, and it's like forcing people to pay attention to the song still, even though we're looking at the visual, as opposed to if he was like super animated. Exactly. I thought it was dope, man. I liked the black and white scenes. SZA looked nice. I mean, I thought it was a cool video. I thought she looked cool.
Why did I know, like, driving here, I was like, someone's going to bring it up. Is it either going to be me or you?
I'm going to be honest, though. I didn't think it was, like, I did think, all right, to be fair. I did think SZA did match the song to me.
Like, the video or the song?
No, like her. What she was wearing, and it just didn't match. Yeah. Like the song was like super romantic, and she come out looking like an Instagram model, just like half naked. It just was a weird. It didn't fit. The song is like super. I'm not gonna say sentimental, but kinda.
It is though. I think
it's sentimental sample. It's Luther Vandross. Right. So I think that that was interesting to me when it first came up. I was like, this is because to me it would have fit with her, like with a dress on, and I don't know. Yeah. But I mean, I'm not gonna be mad that it looks like this in the video. Just something I noticed, like when watching it, I was like, oh, this is an interesting choice.
Yeah, it was. No, I thought like the whole direction of it was dope. Like even like the initial pause, right? Like when you actually play video, it's silent for a while, and I'm like, okay, like creatively, I'm thinking, okay, that was a good decision because it draws you in to see kind of what's next, and then everything is like, I don't want to say like. I don't want to say somber or nothing, but like you feel the song that much more just based on everything else. Like everything is bare bones, even the colors, right? Like it's black and white in certain moments of it.
Very minimalist.
Very minimalistic. Like there's a lot of circular objects around, which to me symbolizes the unification of something, right? Like like a romance, for example. And then like it's really intimate moments, right? Like even the couples, like with Kendrick coupled with someone who I thought kind of looked like his actual fiance.
She did look like.
She looked like her, right?
I was thinking that when I saw it, I was like, "Is that his actual?"
Yeah, like I thought it was her at first, and then okay, as it played out, I'm like, okay, they hired an actor, but like every moment, even with SZA and her like person, her significant other in the video. It's all like genuine romance, right? It's not overdone or over sexualized.
And to me, that's the only reason why I thought that like the outfit choices were interesting. Yeah. Because to me, it was just like, I don't know. When SZA first walked out, I was like, oh, this is this
Daisy Deuce song, bro?
Yeah, I was like, this song wasn't giving it that vibe. You know what I mean?
The Yeah. It wasn't giving that though.
It was not giving that. So when I looked at it, I was like, oh, okay. But then when I seen them have her with her significant other, and I thought it fit.
It fit, yo. And like, I just love what's interesting though about the direction and director is that she's directed several Drake videos. I didn't know that until I watched Screwface Gene. Shout out to him on YouTube, man. If you haven't subscribed to his YouTube channel or checked out his content, definitely do. Screwface Gene.
We should have hollered at him for the book. I didn't.
Man, it's never too late.
It's not.
So bro. Like he pointed that out, or another user, another content creator actually pointed it out. Is that actual director has directed several videos for Drake. So when it comes to levels of pettiness, I want to assume Kendrick got her onto it just because of her directorial, like, you know what I mean?
Not she from
excellence.
Canada. Is she from Canada?
She's from Canada,
that's
also.
Hilarious.
And
it's
levels, man. I'm telling you, to the petty.
There are levels to the petty, man. There are levels. Everything is calculated. So I'm not even shocked about him pulling a Canadian director out for this video. Which is
like that's crazy, bro. Like in fairness, she worked with SZA too, but she's worked with Drake more, and she's from Canada.
SZA isn't from Canada.
No, she's from Jersey.
Oh,
yeah, she from not too far, like what, hour and a half up the road. But
okay,
yeah, man, like that was crazy. How did you feel about the comparisons visually? Kia to here, did you feel like there was any like similarities or not really?
Not really. I thought the only similarities was like some of the black and white.
That's probably
shots
it.
And just how cinematic they were both. Like I feel like they both were shot really, really well.
Yeah.
And I think that they both chose a more cinematic approach to it and shot them like movies.
Yeah.
As opposed to just like typical videos. Because he could have easily just shot it with him and a girl walking down the street or whatever. Like, I mean, he could have made it a more basic. Kendrick never really does that. But I feel like it could have been a more basic. Drake kind of does though. He could have just did, some cars, some girls, and just posted up. But he made it more movie like. So I would say on that front, I see the similarities and with the black and white shots. I think the difference is Drake's, if I remember correctly, his whole video was black and white.
Yeah.
This one is like some scenes and shots are black and white, some aren't, which I thought was interesting too.
Yeah.
Mixing them up. But other than that, I didn't really see many similarities. I did see like little things in Luther that I thought was dope. That I just was like, man, either him or the director pays a lot of attention to details. Like at the 45-second mark, shooting a gun at the 45, like literally right at the 45.
Like
I peeped
small
that
stuff.
I peeped that and I was like, who pays attention to details to that degree?
It's crazy.
It's crazy, but I really do love the ode to Luther at the end and letting the original song rock out. I would like to see more people do that with samples.
Yeah,
and I thought that was really cool. I think that he really made this a tribute. Number one, him naming the song Luther.
Exactly.
Because the word Luther isn't in the whole song.
Yeah.
He didn't have to name the song Luther. The song could have easily been called World Was Mine or whatever. You know what I mean? So the fact that he named the song Luther and let a verse of the song rock out at the end with them dancing and like, I thought it was fire. Like I think that was a great ode to Luther Vandross. And Luther Vandross, in my opinion, is probably the greatest male vocalist ever.
Yeah, I would put him up. I mean, you can put him up with any. I think he might be at the top. I'm biased. I like Brian McKnight. Like, that's probably my favorite male vocalist, but there's no arguing with Luther, bro. Like, Luther is amazing.
Brian McKnight is your favorite. Okay.
Yeah. That's why
Started
I got
back at one, man. That's what my joint.
Yeah, that's why I got the hoop earring. Swear.
So Brian McKnight.
Brian McKnight.
Not Jordan.
Nah. Which is like
that's
crazy
wild,
to say.
That's wild.
It's wild, bro. It's crazy.
Your fashion being influenced by Brian McKnight is crazy.
Who's mad older than me, wasn't even born in probably most of his prime years, but
bro, it's probably old enough to be your. I wouldn't even say parent, probably grandparent.
Honestly,
how old was Brian? No, maybe parent.
Parent is safe, yeah. He can't be that old.
How old is Brian? I don't know. Brian McKnight's been out for a minute.
Maybe late 50s, right?
No,
like early
60s, man.
Okay, yeah, he might be like 62, 63 or something, but yeah,
that's interesting though.
Nah, I love the whole thing, and I just love.
He's only 55. Let me stop making Brian McKnight to be.
Yeah, he can't be that old.
I'm tripping. He's 55.
But I just love this era of just like it seemed like the music video show. I don't know what it is, man. There was a time where, like, especially in the late 2000s, early 2010s, where people were just getting in a room, setting up lights. You know, the era of like the Hype Williams type of music videos was long gone because, you know, music labels, they were just trying to figure out how to scrap a few coins together to even pay these artists or like do a lot of this promotional stuff. It wasn't really paying dividends or paying off. But I think when you're a Drake or a Kendrick, you can do these cinematic like masterpieces. Like even the Squabble Up video, I'm like, if you look at it just visually, all music off. Same with No Kid. You're like, oh, you're enthralled in this. Like, it's like actual film quality.
Yeah, it's going to catch your attention immediately. Yeah. And I like that they're taking it back to that. And it really is Hype. Both of these look like Hype Williams could have shot it.
Honestly. Yeah.
And I would say that that's the similarity. Because Hype Williams used to do a lot of black and white stuff, too. Mm-hmm. And just a lot of, like we said, cinematic, you know, really epic scenes in his videos. Like Hype Williams shot one of my favorite music videos, which is I hate when these at this point in time showing Kanye love it just doesn't feel right. But the Can't Tell Me Nothing video. The slow-mo, and I still to this day, like the fact that he's in slow-mo but his mouth is still on with the words is crazy. Yeah. Like, I just feel like the way that video was shot was just dope. Like with all the stuff exploding in the background, like Hype Williams was like that.
On another level. Did he direct like some Missy Elliott stuff or did I make that up?
I think he did Missy, he's done Busta Rhymes.
Like there's
everybody, like, all the big music videos. I think he might have done something for Ludacris too, but
yeah, and shoot, even our own frat bruh from Philly too. Benny Boom, man.
Absolutely.
He did some classics too. So yeah.
Yeah, man.
But I like this era. I like this era where people are taking it up on some E24 type levels. You know what I mean?
And I like it too because of the fact that they have, you know, music videos really have died for a little minute.
For a minute they
because
did.
There's no music video TV.
Yeah, like there's no 106 in Park, there's no TRL, right? All Sucker Free Sunday, like none
all
of
that. Like MTV Jams and BT, like all that stuff, like the Basement, Big Ticket Basement, you know what I mean? Where they used to show videos on there too. Like people aren't watching TV, so
exactly.
I feel like the only way people are watching music videos is on YouTube.
Exactly,
and you know we kind of watch satellite TV these days, but it's just a different dynamic. You're not. It's only certain videos that I feel like we're flocking to. You know.
Yeah, exactly, and they have to be like crazy, like on this type of level though. They got to be like cinematic quality, like something that's outside the norm, something that a content creator, an everyday content creator can't create. Correct. And this is definitely that. Nokia and both these videos, man. Luther too. Like it's high level, man. I love this era. Yeah, keep it coming, man.
Keep putting out dope music videos, man. I think that it's good for hip hop, and it's good for the culture, man. And to me that brings us to the big three conversation.
Yes.
I've never looked at things like they were big three.
That's how I take for most.
And let me tell you why. When I look at hip hop, I don't look at I don't judge it by numbers. Not solely, at least. Like, that plays a role on how you're reaching the masses. But that's not a telltale sign for me for who is like the best hip hop artist. That's not like that's not on the top of the list for me. So I've never, and this is just me being honest, I've never thought that Drake made the quality of music that Kendrick Lamar or J. Cole did. Nor did I thought it ever had, like, I never thought that they were even similar type of artists. So I've never really, people I feel like placed them next to each other because they came out around the same time. And because they were like the most famous maybe and the biggest names. But like, I can't compare Kendrick Lamar and Drake musically because they don't even make the same. I don't even feel like their music serves the same purpose, the same setting. Other than now, Kendrick is deciding to make some more club type hits. Other than that, like they don't. I've never looked at them in the same boat.
Yeah, I think my metric is different, right? Like I look at them because they're different. I think those are aspects I actually enjoy about them, right? Like I go to a Drake. I remember in 2016, like One Dance, like surfaced, right? And One Dance, people was doing fake patois, like fake, you know what I mean? All the accents, the Caribbean dances, and all that. Because it just took over the summer. What's crazy, I do not like that album. What's the album with him standing on the Toronto like thing?
The Views?
The Views. I do not like that album really at all. I think that's one of his albums. But I say that to say Drake has for a long time, I look at him like comparatively as, this is how I do it, LeBron James. Because he's been great, he's been big, he's been a big global entity for like, he's been at one of the top artists for as long a time as anyone that's been at the top, really. The only person I feel that can contend, I mean, there's many people, but like a Jay-Z, a Kanye, I hate to give him props, but I have to. Like all these other artists, right? Drake fits in that box when it comes to like patent stats.
Right.
But then you have like a technician, right? Like a Kobe Bryant-esque type of like lyricist, like a Cole or like a Jordan, like a Kendrick. Like those are people whose talents and technicality you cannot ignore and is above everybody else essentially. But you can't ignore the dominant force that Drake has been just when it comes to, yes, numbers, yes, but he also just has a cultural impact. He is a cultural phenomenon that we haven't seen in rap in a very long time, maybe not ever.
Yes.
It's tough,
I'm trying
though.
to find a way to say this.
Yeah.
The reason why, and you know how I am with substance.
For sure.
I've never felt like Drake had enough substance to speak on him, or to speak on him in the same vein as a J. Cole or Kendrick Lamar. I've never even thought of them the same. To me, that would be the equivalence of when we're talking about Nas, to be like, but Nelly though.
That'd be crazy.
It'd be crazy. That's how I feel when people talk about Drake when they talk about Kendrick. That's exactly how I feel. That's how I feel when you be like, and I'm talking about in the early 2000s when Nelly was like Nelly. If somebody had mentioned him with Nas, people would be like, nah, those ain't, they not doing this. No, that's pop rap. That's club rap, which is cool, but that's not this over here.
Yeah.
So that's how I look at it. Or even if I give a different example, let's give I feel like Nelly is the best example, to be honest. Or because I'm not even gonna say, I would say Ludacris, but to me Ludacris actually has some substance in some of his songs.
Yeah,
I can't.
He does though. Like a lot of people don't know that. But
a lot of people didn't listen to Release Therapy.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And that's the same reason why, like, people who were mad about my take on Missy being in front of Nicki Minaj. They never heard Missy Wake Up with Jay-Z, or like some of the other songs that Missy had to have substance. You heard Get Your Freak On.
Yeah, exactly.
So I get it, but there's other stuff. So for me, like, I don't know. I don't put them in the same type of category. I put club rappers and conscious rappers are in two completely different pots.
Yeah,
to me.
But like also like I don't know. So like the whole Nas Nelly comparison, right? I think
and I rock with Nelly.
Yeah, of course. We love Nelly.
Be very clear.
Yeah.
I give Nelly more credit than most people do as far as
especially being from Chicago. I feel like y'all look at Nelly in a brighter light than most people.
But we embraced Nelly. I feel like we didn't even care. We were like, he close enough.
St. Louis is 5 hours away, y'all.
It's close enough.
I guess so, yeah.
I went to school with people who put Band-Aids on their face when Nelly was out.
With no scar.
In elementary school. No wound. Just Band-Aids on their face, bro. They don't even have a friend in jail. That's why Nelly was wearing it. His friend was in jail.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, Nelly was wearing the Band-Aid because his friend was in jail, and it was like to symbolize the pain he felt with his friend being in jail. And when the friend got out of jail, he stopped wearing it.
Yeah.
Nope. The people we were in third grade. Nobody was in jail.
Crazy, dog.
Band-Aids on the face.
Crazy.
but yeah.
Yeah. I think the comic's interesting only because like Nelly got classes. We're not doing that. But I feel
country
like
grammar is better than any. I'm not even gonna go there.
Like
I was gonna say country grammar is better than any.
I can't go there. Like I think
country grammar is better than any album, any Drake album to me.
I think Take Care. I think if they were on, I mean, it's hard to compare their careers. If we doing albums,
that's night and day.
Yeah,
Drake's career is way longer.
It's way more extensive. He
and
just has more
most
work.
People wouldn't argue against Drake has better, more longevity.
Yeah.
More people would say he was a better lyricist.
Yeah.
I would like most people would say that.
Yeah.
I mean, now if you account for ghostwriters, that's a whole nother story. But most people in general would say that his lyrics are better too.
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely dents. Like, we're not going to act like there isn't dents. Like, the same, I do the LeBron comparison because in sports, right, you go to the Dallas Mavericks Miami Heat finals. Like, that's a dent in LeBron's career. The ghostwriting thing is a dent in Drake's career, among many things like this recent beef. I think that's dent.
In the recent lawsuit too.
The lawsuit is an even harder dent, like, on his career.
Continuing to go to Aiden Ross's platform.
Yeah.
Nasty word.
I think pre-2024, I think, like, if someone was to say Drake is my favorite artist, forget rapper, I'd be like, I understand what you're saying. It's not for me. Because I'm like you. I've never really considered Drake to be my favorite rapper. Of the three, not even close. I always consider him second. I actually consider him above Cole. Just because, like, I don't know. Like, I don't know what it is. I love Cole, but, like, I like Drake
Cole
more.
Is crazy.
Yeah. Like, which is crazy to say.
Oh, God.
But,
how?
I don't know. I just feel like his music.
Like his music more?
I enjoyed his music, like his singles, his bigger records just more. Although Cole, I just appreciate his substance far greater. It's just depending on, what space and phase I'm in. But
and you know what? One thing I think about J. Cole and Kendrick is that their music, their sound isn't necessarily going to be for everybody.
Yeah.
J. Cole's rapping style, while to me, J. Cole and Kendrick have always swapped on who was my favorite of our generation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They've, depending on the year. I felt like growing up, I resonated with J. Cole's music more, but I don't know if I can even fully say this. At some points, it was Kendrick.
Yeah.
So I think it just depended on what stage I was at in life. But Drake makes the most palatable.
That's what I'm saying. It's
music that's
digestible. It's easy to consume. It's like fast food, I would say.
Yeah. For sure. Fast food is it.
Best junk food music out there within rap.
Best drive-through.
Yeah.
Drive-through. You know what you're going to get.
Shoot.
It's going to be formulaic. And yeah.
Sonic. They come to you. So you pull up and they come to you. Like, that's how easy his music is to kind of digest.
It is. And it's extremely safe. So you can listen, And that's why I understood what Mos Def was saying when Mos Def gave his critique on Drake.
Yeah.
I understood when he he was just talking about, calling it safe and, like if he's playing in the mall, it's, it's safe.
Yeah.
But to me, that's why I don't look at that. Like I look at, how can I look at Drake? How can I compare Drake music to somebody who's talking about systemic oppression in their music?
Yeah.
To me, it just doesn't. It's like it's just night and day.
Yeah,
it's like me comparing Breaking Bad to Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. It's like it's like how am I comparing these two different shows? Like these aren't even in the same
two
genre.
Great shows, but they're very different.
Two great shows.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Different. Two things that you might enjoy, but they ain't.
And that's a crazy thing, right? Like I had certain phases where Future was my go-to artist, like or Meek Mill, like so it's always kind of swayed whoever I felt like had the hottest sound or whose music I could just resonate with at the moment.
I think we're getting to a point where we need to, some people are against this, but I'm sorry. We need to. I think that it's time for hip hop to break off into some subgenres.
Even further. Okay. Like, how would you like? What do you think they should break up?
I don't know what we need to call them, but I don't think Lil Uzi need to be in the same category with a Kendrick. I don't think Kendrick need to be in the same category with a Drake. I don't think Drake need to be in the same category with a with Lil Durk. I just don't. I don't. They're not. They're doing different genres at this point.
Yeah.
The only thing that's similar may be the production. Other than that, they are not. It is not the same.
I wonder. Like, I feel like people have broken it up. It just hasn't stuck.
It just hasn't
right?
stuck.
Like, I feel like at a time, I remember writing for Stereo Gun back 3 years ago. I was talking about Lil Pumps. And I was actually talking about how I felt like that subgenre, that moment, like of the Little Pumps, the Little Xans was actually dead. It's called clout rap, right? Like, so I was calling it like pyro trap because it's like it's super dependent on beats and they not really saying nothing, but everybody's raving out. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I feel like there's certain categories or subgenres that people have spoken about, but it just hasn't stuck.
And you know what though? You know why I think it is?
Why?
I think it's because hot take here. Some of these other genres that are predominantly white now won't claim some of their own. Rock is on his dying deathbed. They should be trying to claim Lil Uzi. Y'all should have claimed Lil Uzi. Y'all should have claimed Trippie Redd. Y'all should have claimed all of them as y'all's because that's really what they are.
They're rock stars.
They're not hip hop artists.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I would even put like to an extent. I would put Travis Scott, Tizo Touchdown up in there.
Juice
yeah,
WRLD,
all,
it's a bunch of them. They should be over there.
Now,
but because they're black and because they're associated with hip hop acts, y'all put them in hip hop, but they're not.
Yeah, and what's crazy, I feel like those individuals in particular, aside from like a Travis, because I've never heard him say that, nor Tizo, but I feel like the other ones you mentioned, Juice WRLD, Uzi, they have acknowledged like, yo, I'm a rock star. Like,
I'm not trying to be a good rapper.
Yeah. And I feel like Playboi Carti, you can throw him in that mix too.
Absolutely.
With the slasher, like rock, heavy metal-esque
type
of
should
thing.
be. They really should be.
I'm not mad at that,
the
bro.
same way people are reclaiming country, I feel like people need to reclaim rock and go on over there and rock out because that to me, they're and honestly, I think some of their lights would shine brighter if they weren't being compared and constantly criticized by people like us who are traditionally hip hop fans. Because we're trying to compare them to this when they're not this.
Yeah, but I also, at the same time, I also think that's what the beauty of hip-hop could be is that you break off these subsections. We still claim them as our own if we ever so wanted to, right? But we're like, yo, this ain't this. Like, this is rock hop or something. Like, we need a better name.
Rock hop is crazy.
Rock hop is disgusting.
Rock hop.
Let's edit that out. Side note. But, yeah, like, I feel like it would actually be doper if we actually had that diversity. That's the one aspect that I feel like gets hit on a lot is that, oh, you have all these weirdos. Like, yeah, you're going to have your weirdos. You had weirdos in the 90s, too. They just didn't have any mainstay, right? Like, as big a mainstay. Like, by all accounts, well, he's a dope rapper. But by all accounts, ODB, Old Dirty Bastard, was looked at as kind of like off kilter. A little unorthodox,
for sure.
You feel me? But, or not, Daz Effects. Like, I always thought that sound was unique, right?
Yeah. 3 Stacks.
3 Stacks.
But they can rap.
They can also rap.
Here lies the difference.
Yeah. But if we actually acknowledge them, though, like for what they are, embraced it to an extent. Like a little, like, you know
but if
like
you can't rap,
yeah.
Why should we be if you can't rap?
It's catching on some way or another. I don't
think Playboi Carti can rap.
I
don't think he has the ability. I don't think he is able to rap well. I don't think that if it was $1 million on the line, I don't think he could rap a good 16. I do not believe he has rapping ability. So if you don't,
so you rather just shun him from the genre completely.
Not shun sounds negative.
It does.
I'm not saying shun.
Not
I'm saying
shun,
that they should embrace him in another genre because he is a different genre.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I don't think it's a negative thing. I just think that I'll give another example. I'll give an example that I really grew up liking. Kid Cudi.
For sure.
Kid Cudi shouldn't have been placed in the rap category. He has some rap adjacent song. Like Day and Night was the one that blew up and he's kind of rapping on there.
Yeah, for
so I guess that's why. And he was affiliated with Kanye. But when you listen to Kid Cudi's music, he should be in alternative.
He's like an alternative rapper, yeah.
Or alternative rock.
I think certain like Speeding Bullet to Heaven. That's
soft
a rock album.
It's soft rock.
That's a rock album. But like with Cudi,
I think it's because they don't. And I guess that's when it comes to, is it because they don't play instruments or is it because they're black that they're not being put in?
I think it could be both. I think it can be both. But like a Sid Vicious, correct me, I'm not a rockhead. Sid Vicious, what is he?
I don't know who that is.
Wow. Whatever. I don't know. I don't know the rock world, but let's assume like there's a front man who's a great or an interesting vocalist who doesn't know how to play instruments. A lot of our artists are. They're interesting vocalists. Like a Kid Carti. Playboi Carti does all the like pitches. I don't know if that's like, you know what I'm saying, in studio and post or whatever, but the fact that he's willing to do it and extend his artistry is little as it exists, that says something. There's interest there. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely. So maybe like a subgenre of hip hop, or maybe do be embraced by that. I'm not against either one.
Yeah.
But I do feel like there's clearly some type of fandom and a place for that in music. And you're not saying that.
No, I'm not. There's a 1,000% a place for it. But we're calling everybody who is black and making music rap.
And then it's interesting too. We calling even white dudes that have like aligned themselves with like certain rap elements, we're calling them rappers, even when they're telling us they're not.
Correct.
Post Malone. Sorry.
Tommy Richmond.
Kid Rock. A lot of these folks, man.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
So it's interesting, ain't it?
Yeah, it's interesting. But at the same time, when there's a clearly a rock group who's putting in rap elements into their music, like a Linkin Park or like some of these music that they're clearly implementing things from hip hop, but you're still letting them be rock groups.
Yeah.
You're not, you know what I mean? So
maybe we're too open, like welcoming, yo. I don't know. Maybe hip hop has always been too welcome.
Yeah, we'll let anybody be a rapper.
We let anybody in the house at hip hop. Jeez.
But every other group is like shunning out who they want and who they don't want. The same way we just saw them do country do with Beyonce. It's like, no, you're not really a country singer, so we're not even going to acknowledge your album that done sold all of these millions of copies because you're not one of us.
Nah, crazy.
Wild when you think about it, man.
Yeah, and a lot of these genres are strictly black too. Like they're
a lot,
founded,
all of the above.
Yeah,
all of the above,
which is crazy, bro.
Which is the wildest thing. Rock and roll was founded by Ike Turner.
Yo,
Rockin' 88 is the first rock and roll song ever.
That is an interesting
fun fact.
Figurehead, like or
Ike
like
Turner?
person,
Ike Turner,
founder of sorts. Yeah,
a lot of people don't know that, man. Ike Turner was Ike Turner before he helped write Tina Turner stuff.
I thought it was Chuck Berry. No,
Chuck Berry was after Ike Turner, but it's the same era though.
Yeah, like what 60s ish, right? Yeah.
Yep. Ike Turner is just credited for making the first song that was labeled rock and roll, and then but they all came out. Chuck Berry, all of them came out in that same era though.
I wish I
Big Mama Thornton and all of that.
I wish I listened to. I don't like maybe like historical rock, but not like 80s.
Oh no, you go back and check out some of that old rock was hard.
Yeah, I'm talking about like the 80s, like flamboyant, like you know what I mean.
Oh, you talking about like the hair bands and all that?
Hair bands, that's what they're called. Yeah.
Listen, I think
I rock with some of that.
I think a good entry point to rock, if you like for a music connoisseur. Have you listened to Queen?
Yeah.
Queen's music is good.
Pink Floyd is amazing.
Pink Floyd makes some decent music.
Dark Side of the Moon. Classic,
yeah. So they got some that are hard, but you just gotta always know the origins.
Yeah. Shoot, who was I listening to the other day? Motley Crue? No. Bon Jovi. Joint fire, bro.
So
but anyway.
I never really listened to Bon Jovi.
Bon Jovi is amazing, but anyway. Yeah.
All right. On another note, it is the 8-year anniversary of Damn by Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna do a salute to that. We're not reviewing it today, but we just want to give a shout out to Kendrick and Damn. What did you think about Damn when it dropped?
I thought it was like.
Is that your favorite? What's your favorite Kendrick album?
It's to Pimp a Butterfly easily. Okay. Which is like, I feel like that's not normal. I've spoken with people who worked with Kendrick or been around TDE and everything else, and they're like, that's typically like one of their least favorite of his albums. For me, it's my favorite by far, just because it was the most resonant for me at the time. You know what I mean? But Damn, when it comes to like, this is the interesting thing. I almost look at Damn as like a My Dark Twisted Fantasy, right? Like, what's your favorite Ye album?
My favorite Kanye album, it alternates, but it usually alternates in between Late Registration and College Dropout.
I think most people feel that way. A lot of people feel that way. I can't say most. I feel like
it depends on the age group.
It depends on age group. Some would even say
I've heard some of these kids
Life
say
of Pablo.
Yeah, I've heard some of these kids say Life of Pablo. I've heard some of these kids say Yeezus, which
that's crazy.
It's crazy.
And I was a Yeezus defender too.
But yeah, typically I lean towards Late Registration being my favorite.
But I feel like even with people that feel that way, if they actually listen to it or re-listen to My Dark Twisted Fantasy, you can say, bro, this is almost like a sonic masterpiece. It's in that element.
To me, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy is his best production.
Yeah, like the production is crazy. Even him rapping.
Yeah,
like bro, and like Sci Hi to Prince, like a lot of people helped, right? But
of course.
It was crazy. I would say that's like certain elements on that album is like peak MC level Kanye.
So you look at Damn that
I look at it as his master work, but for me it doesn't hit the same as a Butterfly or Good Kid, Mad City to me, but it's stellar.
And see,
that's how I see it.
And see, for Damn is typically my favorite Kendrick album. Definitely right now, if I had to answer it would be Damn.
Yeah.
And it's simply just because I just love the way it's structured. It's just it flows like it conveys all of the thoughts. It's just such a concise project from the storyline, the songs all having one word as the names to the. It's just it's really a masterpiece.
The features, Rihanna, Zakari,
the features, like how many societal issues and personal issues he was able to tackle on one album, like fear and like some of these songs that are just like amazing. Like, and to me, I'd never heard anything like Damn.
Yeah,
and I think that's to me why I think of that. To me, that's there's no other rap album that I can compare to Damn.
Nah.
It sounds completely different than everything else. It's
to even have U2 on there.
It's U2 on there, and it's dark. It's a dark album that doesn't really even give hope. It's just like this is the world. This is where I fall in it. You know what I mean? And this is what we're dealing with.
And and the original title of the album was "What Happens on Earth Stays on Earth." When you actually hear that in the album, right? But I think they switched it. This is my just thought. They switched it to Damn because of Damnation. Like, this is where we're at. Like, this is where I'm at in my life as a Kendrick, right? Yeah. But this is where the world is and what's like it's created me to be or it's made me become. You know what I mean? Like, it's so deep, bro.
And even how he tied in some of the Bible stuff into it, And it to me, it's just a masterful album. And it just gives you everything that, to me, it gave me everything that I could have wanted from a Kendrick album. You know what I mean? Yeah. From the introspectiveness to like the songs that are just hard with amazing rapping, like a DNA and like a Humble. It gave me a little bit of everything.
Yeah, even pop elements too, especially on the Rihanna joint too.
Right.
Like it hits on all cylinders. What's crazy, I feel like people didn't love it when it came out. Maybe this is just me, but I don't remember in 2017 people being like, oh yeah, he just topped such and such or it matches such and such. Because I think in people's head, they were like, Good Kid, Mad City, To Pimp a Butterfly, like it was cool, whatever.
I don't know. I think Damn is better. If I'm not mistaken, I think Damn is his highest selling album though.
Oh, it's definitely his highest selling album for sure.
I think Damn had the most hits on it though. That's why.
Yeah.
Because Humble was huge.
Yeah, it was huge.
DNA was huge.
Yeah.
The joint with Rihanna was Love.
Yeah, Love, right?
Yep,
yeah.
Love was huge.
I don't know. I don't feel like critically it was looked at the same at the time. But I think that had to do with the people I was around though.
Yeah.
Because it's a beautiful album.
It's different though.
It's different. And I think
Good Kid, Mad City is one of them albums where even if you're not into really like deep introspective rap, like you will feel Good Kid,
you will feel every element.
Because Good Kid is just hard. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I feel like it's more traditional rap. I feel like Damn is a little more left.
Yeah, it's a little left. It's a little art house in certain ways.
Which is why I ended up winning the Pulitzer. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's different.
Yeah, won my boy a Pulitzer. Like, that's wild.
First and still only hip-hop album never win one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, shout out Doc, man. Yeah, we just have to show love with it being the 8th year anniversary of Damn. Another thing we have to talk about, man. Clipse has a new album on the way.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Yeah. For anybody who is not aware, the Clipse is coming back with a new album that's going to be called, as of now, Let God Sort 'Em Out. Which is a crazy title.
Yeah.
And what's wild is Clipse hasn't released an album together since 2009. For those who do not know, Clipse is a set of brothers, being Pusha T and formerly known as Malice, who now goes by No Malice as his rap name. No Malice stopped rapping.
Yes.
For a while. I believe it was because of spiritual, religious reasons and him feeling like he didn't want to perpetuate some of the stuff that he was in his messaging prior. Since he has began rapping again. Pusha T, of course, kept rapping along the way. But what do you think about this, man? Well, you excited for a new Clipse album?
Man, I'm excited for a new Clipse album. Yeah, like, because when it comes to these two brothers, the Thorntons, bro, like, I just feel like they just know how to make. First of all, they sharpen each other. Like, so I've never seen another rapper sharpen Pusha T's pen or push his pen more than obviously his brother. And they're both phenomenal artists, especially with like a Neptune's production or Pharrell on the executive producing side, bro. That's like a recipe you can't mess up. No. It's like making spaghetti. You can't really mess that up. I know people have.
I've had some terrible spaghetti in my
Have you had bad grilled cheese?
Not really.
Okay. So grilled cheese, because like it's almost impossible to mess that up unless you just
that's true.
Don't
Messing up a grilled cheese.
Operate a kitchen.
There's 3 ingredients of grilled cheese. I mean, it is bread, butter, and cheese.
Literally, if you want to fancy it up, cool, but that's the basis.
That's the basics.
So when it comes to the Neptunes or Pharrell and Clipse, man, you can't mess up that recipe. It's phenomenal. So I expect another phenomenal album, especially because it's been baking for a little while too.
Yeah, man. I'm actually excited to see the direction that they take with No Malice having taken a different spiritual journey.
Yeah.
I assume that there's going to be a lot of introspective and more transparency as far as his messaging. I don't assume he's going to go back to rapping about moving bricks.
Yeah.
So I think that I'm looking forward to seeing what direction they take the album in together.
Yeah.
Because I think that them two together, man, it just worked. Like their styles are different but similar at the same time. I don't know how to explain that, but they their voices sound really different, but their styles are kind of similar.
Yeah, I would agree. And I'm wondering if there's going to be duality because Pusha T, based on his last project, which was phenomenal, I loved it. It was one of my favorite of the year that it dropped. I wonder if there's going to be duality there because they have such differing lifestyles or at least subject matter. So I'm wondering how they're going to play that out. And what's the title of the album again?
Of the new album is going to be Let God Sort 'Em Out.
I feel like that has something to do with the duality itself.
That's why I think they're going to lean into it. I think they'll lean into the differences of their perspectives.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be hard.
And it's going to be magic. It's going to be magic.
I don't see a way where this album isn't crazy.
I don't see it, bro.
No, man. And Clipse, man, for those who aren't familiar with Clipse, you probably are. If you're in my age group, if you're 31, I would say if you're in between the age, I'm 31. If you're in between the ages of 27 and 31, you probably did the beat to grinding on a classroom table with a pencil.
Lunchroom table.
You had to. You just had to. If you were in school when grinding was out, you attempted to make that beat. So you probably know who the Clipse are. And you just didn't know.
And probably butchered it with a weak freestyle too. If you're
probably so. I was a hype with it, but you know what I mean? I was surgical. I was the one in the class with the pen doing the most.
See, I didn't have no rhythm, so I let someone else do that. You know
okay.
And I was sitting in the background because I knew I couldn't rap either. So I was a spectator. So writing about music was always my destiny.
You was destined to be a journalist.
Yeah, I was
in your
destined
blood.
to be an observer of sorts.
Bro. But shout out to the Clipse. And we want to review, man, because they got a new album dropping. We thought that it was only right to do a review of their last project. And their last project was released back in 2009. 2009 is crazy because that's a
16 years ago.
Yeah, 2009, man. I was in high school. Yeah, that's wild. 2009, they had an album that released called Til The Casket Drops. And what were your thoughts when this joint first dropped?
So honestly, I don't remember it.
Really?
I'm gonna keep it honest. 09, what was I? 12? So I wasn't listening to anything like this, to be honest. I think when I was 12, 09, dog, who was I listening to? It wasn't this. It's a fault of my own because this album is
that makes sense though. If you was in middle school, I could see this not being on your radar.
I was probably listening to I don't know, Soulja Boy or something. I don't know. But
probably so.
To the Casket Drop, man. I feel like the only song that I really remember. What song is it, yo?
You probably remember Popular Demand, I would imagine.
Popular Demand. And I remember listening to kind of like a Big Deal. I remember those two songs. Like when I heard this back, because I've never heard this album before.
Wow. Okay. So this is your first time visiting.
My first time. I've listened to Hell Have No Fearing, obviously Laura Willin', which is an absolute classic. I actually think the second album is maybe not as good, but it's a classic in my eyes too. But yeah, I think this album was solid upon first, second, third listen, man. I thought this joint was cool. Now, I will say, though, and maybe we can talk about it a little later, I don't think this quite measures up to the first two albums, in my opinion. Okay. I actually think there was a little bit of a dip, and maybe it had to do with the fact that maybe No Malice maybe knew he was kind of stepping away from this, and I think he alluded to it on a couple tracks, actually, him stepping away from rap and not seeing it necessarily in the same light as he did when he first stepped into the craft. So I can kind of hear it. I don't think the production matches up with the older albums, the first two albums of theirs. And the Neptunes and Pharrell still had a presence, but I didn't feel like it was just as stellar as the previous two projects. But overall, I think this was a solid album. I think it's definitely not bad. I don't want it to make it sound like this. This is a solid album. But is it among my favorites, I would say probably not of the three. It's probably bottom of the three.
And I would agree. I think if I'm comparing it to the other two projects, this is definitely third. Yeah. But for me, I still rock with it. I think it's not that far from me.
Okay.
It's below the first two, but I think it's not that far off. Oh, and mainly because there's songs on here that I really, really like. And there's other songs on here that I go back to. Like Kind of Like a Big Deal is a song I used to go back to a lot. Yeah. Popular Demand is one I go back to a lot. I'm Good is a song that I really love on here. I'm Good is actually one of my favorite Clipse and Pharrell collaborations.
Okay.
I've always just liked the song. I like Pharrell doing the ad lib, like the harmony ad libs in the background. I just think it's fire. I highly recommend anybody who hasn't heard I'm Good by Clipse and Pharrell to check it out. Yeah, man, there's just some joints on here that I really like, but I would agree with you. There are some joints on here I don't like.
Yeah.
And there are some of them that are shockingly Pharrell produced, but I just was like, this just doesn't work.
Yeah.
Like, I don't like Showing Out at all.
Nah.
With Yo Gotti, that's probably my least favorite song.
I don't even know why. Respectfully, and I like Yo Gotti, especially what he does for Memphis and like his A&R and talent, searching abilities. I don't really know why he's on this album. Respectfully.
Yeah.
I know he's from the South.
They probably. Yeah. But my problem with it was Pharrell's production with me. Pharrell's one of my favorite producers. Easily, but Pharrell's production with me is always either hit or miss.
Oh, really?
There's no in between with Pharrell.
Oh, wow.
It's either I think it's amazing or I'm like, bro was getting too artsy. There is not like, and this is a prime example of too artsy. There's no drums in here. Every time you think a drum is gonna drop, it just doesn't.
Yeah.
And it's like, bro, what are we doing here? It's just noises. It's just not. Yeah. But when he tries to get in his artsy bag and it works, it's like, yo.
Yeah.
I feel the same way about Timbaland though. Timbaland is like, because they take so many sonic risks with their music and putting in different sounds that you're not used to hearing, it's either gonna be amazing or I'm gonna be like, what is going on here?
For every super thug like beat, there's probably some of Pharrell's. Yeah. Okay, I can see it.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say every. I don't think it ain't 50-50. No. It's 80-20. 80% of the time it's gonna be hard. But I would say the 20% is like, I don't know what you're doing here. Bro.
Is it bad or is it just like,
well, it's not bad. I just don't like it. Yeah, I wouldn't say like, bad. It's just like it doesn't work. And I think sometimes they get too artsy for the artist that they're working with, and the two just don't mesh.
And like if you're in a studio, especially because I've seen like videos of Pharrell working in the studio, he's like very assertive, like very convincing. I'll say that, like persuasive. And so, like, if you're a Noriega, I don't want to point them out, but just like them having different styles going into working together, like it'll work. But like for someone else, like it just won't.
It just won't work, right? And if you would put another artist on that beat, it might work. It might work. Just sometimes the matching to me doesn't work. But that's any artist. Any artist is going. If you take enough risks, you're gonna have some misses. Like you're not. Everything's not gonna be out of the park. Like when you make as much music as they make. Yeah. But that was one of the misses, but the ones on here that are hard, I love a lot. Like, so that's why I would give this one. What's another one on here I like? Doorman, I think is hard. There Was a Murder, I think is hard. I like Champion.
I like Footsteps.
That's what I'm like the songs on here that I like, I really like. And the ones that I don't, I really don't. So it's But I would say that it's an album worth checking out for sure, especially bleeding up into this next Clipse album, because the storytelling from both of them is amazing. And go revisiting this, I think, reminded me that they're on the same level. I think because Pusha T kept making music, and for most of my life, Pusha T was active, and No Malice wasn't, that I just automatically in my mind was like, oh yeah, Pusha T's a better rapper. But when I went to this, I was like, no, not really. It's some of the songs where I think No Malice's verse is better than Pusha's. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I think it's more introspective, and his perspective is more, like, it catches my attention more.
Yo, listen, I reviewed, what is it? I did a 20th anniversary review of Lord Willin' for Grammy.com. And that was my first time really looking at No Malice and was like, hold on. Has Pusha T, like, paid someone to lock this dude from the studio? Like, because he's amazing, bro. Yes. Like, and so I wasn't really hip until like 3 years ago, like looking back at their music, and I'm like, hold on, No Malice is like tough. Like,
no, he can rap
his off. You feel me? So yeah, I'm excited to see him back in the studio. For sure.
No, man. I'm excited. I'm excited to see what perspective he's gonna rap from, what he's gonna have to say after being gone and out of the spotlight for this long. Yeah, man, it's just exciting. Yeah. And I've been seeing the little rollout. I've been seeing Pusha T hinting at it and putting up random images and pictures with some songs in the background. So I see what he's doing. I think they're teasing it and getting ready to roll it out. But yeah, man, I'm looking forward to it. I think the Clipse, man, we need a new Clipse project.
We need it, man. That's what we need in hip hop, man. Like, I feel like they were rolling it out. I thought they were going to roll it out sooner. Him and Jim Jones, Pusha T, or Clipse had something with Jim Jones. I thought it was like kind of like a promotional play. I guess not, but I'm ready now. Like, no beef needed.
And don't wait this long, man.
Yeah, come
on. Don't make us wait all day.
Not 16 years, bro.
Nah, bro, go ahead, just drop it before the summer.
I think so.
Drop it before the summer hit. You know what I mean? Give people something to bump and listen to. And Pusha hasn't released in a while.
And he hasn't. What was his last album, yo? I feel like that was like 4 years ago, maybe. Something like that.
Pusha's last. When Pusha's last.
And it's not Paint Dry, or what am I thinking of, yo?
Pusha's last album, yeah, it is. It's Almost Dry.
It's Almost Dry.
Yeah, that was 2022.
Okay, all right, it's been long enough, bro. Come on.
Yeah, it's it's time. It's time. I think it's time. And you know, and that was 4 years after Daytona. And Daytona was amazing.
Bro, all of these, like, anytime Push, that's what I love about him. I love about the Clipse, like, historically. If they're gonna work, bro, the production you don't even have to worry about.
I feel the same way about them and always choosing good production that I feel about Rick Ross.
Absolutely.
And when I click on a Rick Ross album,
you know what you're gonna get.
Know that the production is gonna be amazing.
Exactly.
No matter, I know the production is gonna be amazing. I know he's gonna be talking crazy on
all
there.
That boss talk.
I know that like Rick Ross. I don't think we give Rick Ross enough. I'm gonna be honest.
We don't, bro.
I don't think we give Rick Ross enough credit for consistency.
Yes, and can concepts, bro. Like, he'll stick with a concept too.
Yeah,
people don't give him enough credit for his albums, man.
Yeah, man, and he'll give you something more up tempo, then he'll give you something that's like slow on some Apple of My Eye, like some of those tracks. Like,
Diced Pineapples.
Yeah,
like
right.
You feel me?
Stay
God.
Scheming.
Come on, man.
You know what I mean? Ross is raw. Like, that's another conversation we have to have. Is where does Ross fall?
Woo!
In hip hop,
man. If I had to
like,
say,
who's he in the category with? Who are his peers in hip hop?
Oh, that's tough. Okay, I know where I'll place him. Although, like, I didn't think about this at all, so don't kill me on the internet. I'll probably put him wherever you would put Cameron in. I feel like he fits within that frame of either 5 or 10. Among that, or even 50.
I put Ross above Cameron.
Okay. Would you put him with 50?
If 50 kept making music, and 50 don't have as much, I don't know if 50 got enough music as Rick Ross does, but when he did, it was amazing. I think maybe 50 and maybe I think that's fair.
Okay. Yeah, because I feel like it's fair just because 50.
He just kept going. That's why it's hard for me to say 50 Cent stopped making music.
So who would?
Ross has made classics in all the general, and like every 4 years, 5 years, Ross put out a hit.
That is tough because you're right.
So to me, I don't know if there's anybody else, but I think Ross, because he's so big in entrepreneurship and all these other businesses, he doesn't feel that need to rap like how everybody else does.
Yeah, it's tough.
So he just kind of drops when he want to drop, but I don't know. You're right. Because I almost want to put him with T.I. now. Almost. I almost want to put him.
I don't even feel like that's a bad place though. I don't feel like that's a bad place because
I feel like T.I. raps better, but
he raps better.
But I think that I almost, because T.I. is like that too, where he still put out an album and he'll still feed his base, and I feel like Ross is like that too. So that's almost where I want to put him is with.
And they do so many things, bro. Like, it's just, like, I don't know. It's hard for me to like just pin an artist with a certain like number right on your top 50 list and forget about, this dude owns like mad Wingstop. I don't know. Like, it just like messes up my mind a little bit. I think of them as entities, moguls. Then moguls beyond just rapping, right? Like, I almost think of that second or third sometimes. But
Yeah.
and I think a lot of people think about that when they think of Ross.
But yeah, man. I think Ross belongs. And man, y'all let us know what y'all think, man.
Yeah.
Ross and T.I., man. Who do you think is one of them higher up on your hip hop list, lower, or do you think that they belong, that they're in the same class, or do you put them in separate categories? You know, for me, I look at T.I. I have T.I. higher on my list in hip hop probably than a lot of people do.
Where do you have him? Like 25, 30 in between there?
He
Higher?
Absolutely. I got T.I.'s is definitely top 20 for me.
Okay.
For sure. And it's because it's really because I really have listened to a lot of T.I. albums, and T.I.'s put out some really great albums.
Yes.
And he has some introspective songs that I feel like stand alone. Like he has one that I use in my class called Just Doing My Job.
I love that.
And I feel like that
Kanye
song
produced too.
explains a drug dealer trying to get better than almost any other song. You know what I mean? And I feel like he has multiple songs like that are introspective that really, I think he's great at storytelling. So he's higher on my list. He's definitely top 20. I don't know where in the 20. He might be closer towards 20.
Just
but
Doing My Job, bro. That sample, bro. Like that beat is crazy, yo.
He has a lot of tracks like that. Even some of his earlier stuff.
Yeah.
That is really, really amazing. So I always put T.I. high up on my list. So T.I. might be a little higher than Ross for me, but it's not that far off.
Yeah, and I don't think put in, like, I know people are gonna like feel away when I say this. I don't think put in Ross, Jeezy, Gucci, T.I. like somewhat in the same realm. I'm not saying they have to be side by side. I'm not saying that. But
See, to me, that's disrespectful.
You think because Gucci's in there, or
correct?
Just because? Yeah, I could see how people say that. But when I think of Gucci, I think of him as like a symbol of Atlanta culture. Some people will look at it as a negative one. I think like in certain ways, especially his eye for talent.
Oh,
like,
I
consider him
I'm thinking
like
of just
beacon.
Musically.
Yeah,
I'm like to put T.I. and Gucci in the same category with music. To me is crazy.
I think Gucci is more of like a symbol of like Atlanta music, more so than like someone I would point to and be like, oh yeah, that's like one of my favorite albums. Like I probably wouldn't say that
because I would be alright putting Jeezy there, even though I think T.I. raps way better than Jeezy, and I think Jeezy would say that, but I think that Jeezy. His music is a little, at least he has some profound
a lot
music.
of substance, bro.
A lot of substance.
I love Jeezy, man.
Jeezy's last album was alright, man.
Yeah.
I feel
people
like
not talking about
people
it,
did
bro.
not talk, and it kind of bothered
crazy.
me, man, that people didn't. And maybe that's going to be one of my hidden hits today. I'm gonna put y'all on one of these Jeezy songs that people should have been listening to, but they didn't.
Bro.
So, man, we're going to get into hidden hits, man. For those who do not know, this is our segment where we bring y'all into our playlist a little bit, and we introduce y'all to some songs that weren't hits that we feel like should have been hits.
Yes.
New and old.
So
let's do them one at a time.
Okay.
The first one that I want to give is a track by Benny the Butcher.
Okay.
Produced by Hit Boy called Legend.
That's my favorite Benny the Butcher song.
Amazing track.
Amazing.
They say I'm gonna be a legend soon. I'm a legend now.
Exactly. Talk that talk, Benny.
You know what I'm saying? I felt where he was coming from. You know what I mean? And so that's one that I want to recommend. What you got?
Yo, I got Woes of the World by SZA and OID, a Chicago, legend in hip hop, period. But yeah, this is like dope. Like as you would imagine, just based off the title, it's just talking about like the woes of the world and how like everything, the dangers, like the traumas that we as especially black men face historically, but even now, like how it affects that person. And just from a sonic standpoint, bro, it just sounds amazing. It's real deep. This is definitely a long drive play. Like you would play this on a long drive just to kind of change up the mood a little bit. So definitely recommend Saba's Woes of the World.
Okay, I'm gonna check that out. Another one that I recommend, Rhapsody and J. Cole had a song called Sojourner.
Yeah.
Amazing. Amazing record that was on Rhapsody's project called Eve. Highly recommend checking it out, man. A very introspective song. J. Cole gives an amazing verse on there that's talking about the state of the world, the state of black people in America, the whole nine. Definitely check it out, man. Rhapsody, Cole, Sojourner. That's another one I want to throw in there.
Yeah, and if you need a mix up, like something a little bit, just to get you hyped a little bit, you know what I mean? This is the first time I heard the name of this artist, but this was my first time actually checking out the music. It was just a random like algorithm pick, but Paris, Texas, the song Infinite. That is dope. Like, it surprised me soon as I was listening to the first 30 seconds. I was like, hold on, this is kind of like awkward because it reminds me of a little Tizo. It reminds me of a little of this or Cudi or like something like that. But it's definitely dope. A little Travis-esque, but it's dope. So definitely check out more of Paris, Texas's music, but especially Infinite. Check that one out.
Absolutely. And then the last one that I want to give is off of Jeezy's last project. His last album, I think you should check the whole thing out, to be honest. It was called I Might Forgive, But I Don't Forget. I thought it was a fire project. It was a mature Jeezy. Yeah. It was Jeezy talking about his life in the streets, but from a reflecting perspective and more mature about the decisions he's made and how far he's come in life. And to me, just an amazing project. And I want y'all to check out the song I want to recommend is called My Name. So look up Jeezy My Name. Hard. Beat hard. And then you also could check out No Complaining while you're at it. Another hard song from that project. But yeah, man, that's what you got another one?
Yeah, I got another one by Bodie James. I'm a huge Bodie James fan. Like, he's often.
I gotta come out. I'm sleep.
Yeah,
Bodie James.
Like that, just slow, like lo-fi, like playalistic type.
Larry
of,
June type.
Almost, but like I would say even more somber, like even more laid back. Like, he's just rapping for rapping's sake. It's almost like you woke bro up in the middle of the night and was like, "Bro, here," and just handed him the mic. He's like, "All right, bro, like I'll do it," and he'll just rap circles around everybody. So this is a joint, A Day Late and a Dollar Short remix with Jay Worthy. And some other artists on here, but Bodie James is a standout. Man, this is dope music. I just love Bodie James. He just his sound, everything is always consistent. He's consistent in the same way that I think Freddie Gibbs is always consistent. So that's how I would compare his not his style, but just the way that he kind of just approaches rap. You know what I mean? So nice. And speaking of Freddie, last recommendation is a song called Nobody by Freddie Gibbs, man. In my eyes, you can't go wrong with the Gary, Indiana native, man.
That's
he just makes dope music. He picks great beats. This is another
and
example.
He raps well.
Come on, man.
And above all, he raps well.
Yeah, circles.
That is our hidden hits for the day, man. It's been another episode of Rapping Reason, man. Episode 39. Make sure that y'all are following us on Instagram at Rapping Reason, TikTok Rapping Reason. Make sure y'all are subscribed to the YouTube channel. Yes. Please make sure that y'all hit that subscribe button, notification bell, all of that. And man, make sure y'all comment, letting us know what y'all think, letting us know what albums y'all want us to review, and we'll keep on giving you all more retro reviews and present reviews in hip hop.
Yes, and don't be afraid to flame us up. If you think we said something wrong, let us know, bro. Like, am I gonna respond? Probably not. But I'll joke about it later.
Yeah, we'll talk about it on the show for sure, and we'll start calling y'all by y'all usernames on there too.
If it's something crazy, yeah, it's probably gonna.
Right now the barb's on my head, man. One of them found my Instagram, man.
Dang, you serious?
Yeah, man, the barb's on our head, man. Look.
I said the barbs is going
and I
do what they do.
Said what I said.
Yeah, that's not gonna do nothing.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Just keep the engagements up. We love it.
Yes, absolutely, man.
Until next time, Brody.
Until next time. Yes, sir. Rapping Reason. We out.